Welcome to your last week of conciliation. It's been an interesting and sometimes controversial, but ultimately an enlightening experience. We have discussed the different parties to the conciliation. We have evaluated the process of conciliation. We have investigated how evidence is utilized in conciliation, and you have even gone so far as to step into the shoes of the parties. This week, we will be returning to our evaluation space, in which we will investigate the importance of conciliation at the CCMA. I encourage you to spend some time reflecting on the last 6 weeks to adequately prepare you for the engaging topics that you will encounter this week. Are you ready? Let's do this. We know that there are employment disputes every day around South Africa, and often, due to the developing nature of the country, the employers have the money to start businesses, but many lack the skills or time required to ensure that they are labor compliant. This lecture will address the importance of conciliation at the CCMA. The first thing we will look at is the employer, and the second will be the employee. Lastly, I will introduce you to the crux of what the CCMA does for conciliation and ultimately the South African job market and economy as a whole. It is a well-established fact that the employee is usually the party to any employment relationship who holds less bargaining power. This stems from supply and demand. More people need or want jobs than employers have to give. Due to the history of employment laws in South Africa, the laws were re-evaluated to encourage the employee to understand their rights, to ensure that they are not subjected to any unfair labor practices. Often, that knowledge the employees have about labor law is not always exhaustive, and this is one of the reasons that employees often seek out the CCMA to assist them in understanding the received labor practices, whether it's warnings or dismissals and the like. The employee has the option to seek assistance from the CCMA, which could ultimately save the employment relationship, thereby saving someone's job. Often when the CCMA is discussed, it is aligned to the employee's need for protection. However, the CCMA has been known to assist employers in firstly explaining to employees where their possible work shortcomings are, and secondly, assisting employees on getting the employee to sit and engage with them in a meaningful way. There are often times that the employer does not know or understand the frustrations the employees may be facing, and the conciliator creating a safe space for the employee to speak to the employer could very well save their job. We have spent a considerable amount of time developing an understanding about what the conciliator does in a conciliation. And if you take a moment to reflect on your understanding, the realization that the CCMA aids in this process by allowing workers in South Africa to approach them to start the process of dissolving the dispute is amazing. The CCMA is fantastic at forcing the parties into conciliation before allowing the dispute to move to arbitration. You should realize from your role play activities how impactful this can be for the parties. The CCMA starts every issue with a conciliation, which ultimately creates a collaborative space for the parties. And because of the way in which conciliations are run in a safe environment for discussion, even if the conciliation fails, the commissioner, who has been appointed by the CCMA as the conciliator to the matter, would have to make sure to preserve the integrity of the relationship between the parties as much as possible. It is safe to say that majority of the time, neither of the parties would leave the conciliation more resentful than they were before it. The CCMA's approach to try to resolve issues as soon as possible is the reason conciliation at the CCMA is so important. It's been a pleasure engaging with you. Now is the time to start on your last set of activities. Thank you and good luck.